Hi everybody, I have decided to go ahead and re-record a different video lecture for your class, even though I have shown you in class how to access library materials. I did want to show you here on the MJC website and your specific databases you have access to. You're going to go to the library icon right there, and this is where you're going to be searching for books, or ebooks even, or you can go to the library databases. Unlike the other class, if you watched that video, we don't have a research guide specifically set up for my class, but you can ask a librarian for help with source evaluation or anything like that. They have research guides set up here. If you go to research, learn research skills, right, they'll talk about free online research skills courses. You can go through other research guides here where they talk about research skills here, like Readyset research, tips for picking a topic, developing research questions. These are basically where you're going to get further guidance on how to set up a guiding question as you are going through your research. Our lovely librarian Kathleen Innes has set up a page, and you can contact her. So why a research question? Developing research questions, what you want out of a research question. They even give you templates for research questions here. And then some examples of research questions with topics. So you can look through some of these research topics as well. So that's all here. The Readyset research guide is going through step by step. It's some of the stuff I've already talked to you guys about: choosing your topic, developing research questions, knowing your sources, so evaluating those sources. The CRAP test, right? This is something that's going to be on the final. You want a source that's current, that's relevant to your topic, that is authoritative, that's accurate, right? And the point of view, or sometimes called purpose, this is where you get into bias, things like that. So you can look through this whole research guide here. Identifying search terms, that's something you guys should have already done when you were brainstorming. And so you can see all of these resources are available to you here in the library's website. So I'm just going to go back to the main page where we have articles and databases. Articles and databases, we have where it says begin with background reading. This is the virtual reference libraries where you're going to find encyclopedias. They might be helpful. They have specialty encyclopedias. They might be helpful when you are getting to know your topic, deciding on what your thesis statement is going to be, which you're going to have to come up with a working thesis, in your research proposal, which remember is due by the end of the day. That can change later, but it is due today. The CQ Researcher Online. This, you have to log in. Remember to log in order to actually access anything. But CQ Researcher has a lot of topics, and they do overviews of topics. So if I were to look at specifically, say, immigration, and you might find some specific, things about immigration conflict or immigration policy, the entire report on immigration policy. This is an overview article. It has an author's name, but it's an overview article. It wasn't published for a well-known organization. It was published basically for this website or for this database, and it covers a lot of issues. Not one in particular is talking about, immigration being, the enforcement being ramped up with ICE raids, things like that. The border wall, the proposed border wall, sanctuary cities, things like that. It might send you to good sources that you could use online, but you don't want to actually cite an article in CQ Researcher in your paper. This is just background reading. Again, this paper, this database, Issues and Controversies, very useful for searching a topic, getting to know what supporters say, and what and what opponents say. This might help you to figure out your thesis. You go down to where it says immigrant detention. Maybe you settled on, you want to talk about family separation at the border. And so you're looking under immigrant detention, stringent policies, restrictions on illegal immigration. Let's see here. You're looking, all of these are separate topics where it says supporters argue this and opponents argue that. Are immigrant detention centers fair and effective? Okay, maybe that looks like it's something you're interested in writing about. It says what supporters say, what opponents argue, and it goes into detail talking about changes in the policy, controversy over detention centers, what supporters argue in detail, what opponents argue in detail, government and advocate press issue. Okay, so again, this is an overview of a topic. You are not going to be using an issues and controversies pros and con article as a source in your paper. You will be marked down for that. That shows a lack of research depth. This would only be background reading. You might find some sources on websites down here in their bibliography, but you wouldn't use this source. The sources that I want to see on your research proposal and as sources in your essays, they are over here where it says, explore your topic further. You can go to the Gale Databases, or you can go to EBSCO host databases. This is very important. So, let's say you want to talk about family separation from immigration. Okay, family separation at the border. This was something that was in the news a lot earlier this year. So you search for that search term. There are only 322. That's pretty good. Sometimes you have thousands. Sometimes you only have a couple. So 320 is not bad. You might find some stuff that you want to talk about. Immigration policy directives, border enforcement, family separation. Okay, interesting. If you want to just have more recent sources, you can pull this slider over. If you just want magazines or newspaper articles, you can check those, right? And it changes things. At least one of your sources must be peer-reviewed. You can make sure it's peer-reviewed by checking the scholarly peer-reviewed sources right here. So let's see. We're looking at peer-reviewed sources. Family Unity Revisited, Divorce, Separation, and Death. And maybe that doesn't look good. Let's see. Immigration Stories there. Are we there yet? Immigration Reform and Children Left Behind. Maybe. Let's see. Context of Latino Studies. Family Separation During and After Immigration. Paradoxes of Family. Immigration policy, separation, reorganization, and reunification under current immigration laws. Actually, this looks like it might be useful, but it's back in 2015, so it's maybe a little bit older. But say you're interested in this source, you can read the abstract and it will tell you more about what this source is about. But you wouldn't be citing from this. You actually, eventually, if you think this source will be useful, you need to open the PDF, full text, over here. In the PDF view, a lot of times it will pop up there. I think my computer is specifically set up to have it just download and open in my Acrobat reader. But most of the time, your browser will pull it up. But you see, I have it here. I just downloaded it. Paradoxes, you have now, because you have the actual PDF, you have the page numbers. And this is going to be important because if you want to cite this one quote that you found where it says something about paradoxes contained in the U.S. family immigration system, you can see that's on page 34. This is page 35. You actually have to use the page numbers and cite. We're at the end of the semester. You guys need to be using full MLA citation. That means page numbers after any quoted or paraphrased material. And these will have pages. So you can print this all out, annotate it, and everything like that. And when you're ready to cite it, you go over here where it says cite. Or you can go back to that detailed record. When you go back to the detailed record, it's over here. It says cite, right? When you press cite, on that last page or this page, it pulls up the EBSCO thing here, and you're going to want to scroll down to MLA, and you're going to highlight. You can right-click and copy or you can press Control-C to copy, and then you're going to bring your citation over here into your research proposal. So say you're working on your research proposal. This is what it should look like. A section for the topic. You're talking about family separation policy, when it started, how it's still relevant today while political conversation has moved on because it's now defunct. Lawyers are still fighting it, and they're still separating families at the southwest border when children are U.S. citizens. And then telling me, what do supporters say? They argue it's a deterrent to illegal border crossing, and it prevents the abuse of the asylum process. But opponents say that it has damaging effects on the families, and it's a human rights violation. Okay. You discussing your topic should be longer than your working thesis. Your working thesis should be 1-2 sentences max. Your working thesis is the argument you're thinking of making. It's not your whole introduction. I just want to see what thesis statement you're thinking of making. A thesis statement is just that, a statement. That's like 1 sentence. The family separation policy was immoral and illegal. Not only should it never have been put in place because it violates human rights, but we must pass laws to stop its continued enforcement and prevent it from ever happening again. Okay, and then I can see from that what you're going to argue. Why it's immoral, how it's illegal because it violates human rights laws, and what we should be doing, how it's still being enforced in some places, and what we need to do to stop it. That's going to be plenty for a paper. Now you get to your annotated works cited. You have your first source. Now if you just hit Control-V to paste it, look, it's got all of this strange highlighting going on. So maybe if you don't just do that, instead right-click. Don't do text only because you're going to lose all the italics. Don't do keep source formatting because that's going to have the weird highlighting. Choose the middle one, merge formatting. Now you have the correct things in italics, the database name, and the journal name. And the last thing you need to do is hanging indentation. And that's all you do for the hanging indentation. There's another way, to do hanging indentation. You just make sure it's over here where it says indentation hanging. Okay, now for it to be an annotated citation, you need to then write a couple sentences telling me this source talks about, and you can talk about, basically, I just need 2 sentences here. A sentence telling me what this source is about, what information it gives, and how it's going to be useful. You might say this source talks about the immorality of the family separation policy and all of the troubles that families have to go through. I can use it when I'm arguing that this policy was immoral and that it violated human rights. That's all I need to know, a couple sentences. And then when you're done writing about that, you go over and you can do another source and annotate that source. I'm looking for at least 3 here in your annotated works cited, and then your research proposal will essentially be done. Now let me show you some of the other databases we have. These are the Gale Databases. Remember, I found them right there above EBSCO host databases. It opens up there, search here, and I type in family separation, and family separation policy. That seems good. You can it just does a straight search, and you'll see Trump ends family separation policy. Will jail families together instead? Okay, that looks like it is a magazine article. Why Trump's family separation policy failed. Miller Time family separation policy is just the beginning. The genesis of the family separation. Ooh, is this talking about the history behind it? You can see not a lot of these on this website have PDFs. Sometimes they do, and if you can find one with a PDF, that's going to be good. But it's because a lot of these are short articles. What you're going to see in order to get an academic journal or a peer-reviewed journal, you have to click this over here. With academic journals, you see they're longer, and now they have some PDFs. Now, if you go into this article, Immigration Policy, the Case for Family Unity, that might be useful. You can download the PDF, and if you want to cite it, it's just going to throw you to the bottom. Or actually, yeah, no, this one has a pop-up, and it gives you an MLA citation there too. So EBSCO host and the Gale Databases, that's where you guys are going to find your peer-reviewed sources, and it will give you the citation, and that's how you're going to build your research proposal. So good luck.